Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jill Lancet. It's half obscured by my coffee. Let me just get that out of the way. And welcome to Thursday. Now Thursday is your free card making tutorial. Now I have been featuring the card sketches from the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalogue. So we're pretty much steaming through these now. We're actually up to the second last one. That's this sketch here, number 21, right there. Hope you can see that, 21. So I've made it literally as the sketch is. No tweakage, no Jill modifications. I've just made it exactly as it is shown in the catalogue, and I've used two colors that may or may not be normally put together, and I'm really enjoying this challenge because I found that if you have an end goal, i.e. the sketch, and then you check what you have, kind of makes you a little bit more creative in what you're using, because you're not having to think too much about how that's going to fit on there or what's happening. So I've used Blackberry Bliss. This is one of my favorite colors, and I've paired that with the grey granite. Now, normally you wouldn't think that they would go, but I really like how this turned out. Now this jute is not Blackberry Bliss. It could well be, but it's not Blackberry Bliss. It is from the 2023 to 2025 in colour jute trim pack. But the Stampin' Up! Colours don't guarantee to match perfectly, but they do guarantee that they will blend in. So I've used that. That is actually called Moody Mauve. In Australia, we call it mauve, which might sound a little bit funny to my US viewers, but that's what we call it, Moody Mauve. And it blends really well, because there's some lighter shades in this paper, lighter shades within this paper that actually make that pleasing to the eye, so pleasant to see. Now, I haven't put anything in, just the insert, which is the grey granite, and the grey granite is like a warm grey. It's if you put it next to another grey, you will notice that it is sort of like got a browny tone to it, which makes it kind of blend in with this reddy colour here. But I just put a little bit of the scraps there, and I've used, of course, the Neutrals DSP or Designer Series paper. You've got 40 pieces of 6x6 paper in this pack, and the colours are really lovely. And there are 4 designs. They come 2 different designs on both sides. So they're double-sided paper. So you've got so many designs, so many pieces. A little pack like this, when you think about how much I've used here, a little pack like this is going to last you a fair while. And in this colour is the basic grey, the Blackberry Bliss Crumb Cake Early Espresso Grey Granite. So that's the grey granite there. Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, Pecan Pie, and Smoky Slate. But some of these colours will actually blend with these jute assortment packs. So think about that. It doesn't always have to be exactly on the money, but it will blend. So, yeah, let me know what you think about that. That is our second last card sketch in a series where we have featured up to this point 21 cards. The card sketches are in the catalogue to help you. Sometimes you're just stuck Sometimes you just can't think of what you want to do, and the card sketches are really, really good to refer to. So that's our second last card sketch. Now, tonight we're not actually making a card. Now, I featured these in my classes this month, and I always find it really good fun to make something that isn't necessarily always a card. And I've pretty much done everything. So tonight's video, I'm sorry, you probably won't even have time to drink your coffee. Sorry about that. But yeah, they're very quick. They use scraps and you can make them into gifts. So what am I talking about? I'll tell you right now. Bookmarks. Now, I've made these little bookmarks, and I think I've seen them around the place before, but I've kind of made them my own in as far as they will sit in a book without falling out. So let me see if I can find some papers. And these are some of the papers that I've used. This is an online exclusive set of papers. It's called Irresistible Blooms. No, Hello Irresistible, I think. I don't know. Anyway, look, there's quite a few papers there. And this will actually, if this was the pages of your book, it's not going to fall out anytime soon. This little guy peeks over the cover of the book and holds your page. And all you see is this little guy here. So we're doing it a bit different. As I said, we're using some of this gorgeous Irresistible Blooms paper. And I've got everything ready to go. I just felt like we all needed a little bit of a quick one tonight. And here's the thing. This is using scraps of some retired papers that I had. Now, to me, they're retired papers, but to you guys, they're papers. So use your papers, use them, because before you know it, it feels like they've multiplied. And all I used here were 3 different circle punches, 3 different sizes, and I've made that little bird the feature for this bookmark. So this one here uses the beautiful sketched butterfly. This is also a retired paper. I can't even remember what it was called, but yeah, so you can get a lot out of your scraps and indeed your cardstock. Now, these were cut horizontally or vertically from the horizontal side. I'll show you what I mean. I'm just getting a piece of, if I can. Hold your horses, honey. Ugh. Hang on. So a piece of A4 or a piece of US letter size. I do believe it's about, well, let's measure it. It's about 1 3/4 inches, I think it is, or like 4.5 centimeters. And I've just cut them straight down. So you're going to get a lot out of your piece of A4 or whatever. I've then cut the strips. I'll show you everything I've got, and we'll put this together right now. Okay, so scored down the middle, and then cut into what did I say, 1 3/4 or 4.5 inches. So let's have a look. Now this one here, I didn't put anything on the back, but this one here I did, because I had loads of scraps of this paper left over. But I'm going to show you what I did with this one that we're going to make now, which kind of makes a little bit more sense to this one. So I have everything here. I think this one's a little bit narrower. Oh no, it's the same size. So A4, 1 3/4 inches or 4.5 centimeters, I think it was. I'm just going to give that a really good fold with my bone folder. So this is the A4, across the long side, you're going to cut that. You're going to score it first at 10.5 or half of your normal sheet. So we've got that there. Now I have 2 pieces of retired designer series paper. I'm choosing to use this side because the piece that I have has these sort of like salmony colours on it. Now I have cut out of the Irresistible Blooms. I've cut out, there's 2 stuck together. I've done a little bit to sort of speed this up. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of cardstock, a piece of designer series paper, and then I've cut out the outline of this gorgeous, beautiful big flower from the designer series paper. The die fits the flower on the paper. So isn't that lovely? Now I'm going to show you a few bits and pieces here. If you notice on these die cuts, there's kind of like a smoother edge, and then there's kind of like a flat edge or a rough edge with your rough side. So we want to keep them going all the same way. That's not all the same way, but I'm going to show you how to put this together, okay? Now, at first I toyed with the idea of putting a magnet on this, but they do actually hold really well inside the book. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do first, okay? So I've got all of my bits and pieces. Now, this is the back of the same paper. Now, of course, it's going to look like this one. It's going to look a little bit rough. So what I've done is I've just turned it upside down to the piece. I want this showing, okay? So effectively when I cut, this was the back. So I'm just going over that with my bone folder, and I'm just smoothing that out. That's the first thing I want to do, okay? Now, the second thing I want to do is I want to take both of these pieces of designer series paper, and I'm going to line them up. I'll tell you what measurement they are. They are 1.5 inches by nearly 3 3/4. But you just cut them to suit your piece of cardstock. So you want a small border. Now look, that doesn't match quite up there with the border, but it doesn't matter because we're covering the top, okay? So I'll start again. I've got my 2 pieces of designer series paper. I'm going to pop those together, and I'm just taking a corner punch. Now, I've had this corner punch for years and years and years, okay? So I just want to pop 2 at a time. I'm going to pop those into the corner. You want to make sure that they're right in, and cut the corner, and it just rounds the corner, because if this is going in and out of a book, those corners can sometimes catch, so you don't want that. It'll start to sort of peel off, so you want to round those corners. So we've got some scraps there. Now that I've done that, I want to do the same thing to this, and I'll round all of them, but the first thing I want to do is I want to put some tear and tape across where the score line is on one side, okay? So I'm going to pop that just across there like that, as close to the score as I can. Right. Just going to take your pick if I can find it. I simply had it. There it is. Stop looking. Okay, so give that a nice rub over. Take off the protective paper, and we're just going to fold that in half. Okay, give it a bit of a nice burnish, and then this might be a little bit trickier, but we're going to cut all the corners of this piece as well now. It's got to go through 2 layers of cardstock, so yeah, you know, give it a good push down. And there we go. So, hang on. So now we've got this, we've got these. I'm going to just put those on there. Now look, if your paper's directional, this is the time to take note. You want it to go up towards the fold. Up towards the fold. So I'm going to pop that on there with some liquid glue. Now, as I said, check your scraps. These are great for the kids to make. The kids can make anything they want. If your stamp or their drawing or whatever fits inside a circle or a square or even a heart shape, yeah, you can pop it onto a bookmark. So whatever size you want to make that, that's totally up to you. So yeah, those measurements are not, they're going to be according to your bookmark, okay? And you really don't need it so very, very long. So making it this size enables you to get a whole heap out of your piece of paper. And now it doesn't have to be this wide either. You can make them wider, you can make them narrower. This is how it started. I wanted it to accommodate this butterfly. So I made it roughly the width of those wings, so that I could put that on the top and it looked like it was part of it. So that's where that measurement came from. So now we have this. We've got it covered in our beautiful DSP. And we're simply going to assemble this part now. So I've already glued 2 of these together. So that's a double thickness. Now I'm going to glue these 2 together. And you'll notice that they all go the same way, okay? We want them to go all the same way. If this was a circle or a square or maybe even a heart that was symmetrical, it wouldn't matter. But because this is a specific shape, you need to have this all going the same way or it's going to look a bit odd. So there they are there. I've glued 2 together. So I've got 2 here. I have 2 here. They fit over one another perfectly because they're all facing the same way. Now that is important. That's an important step. So now I want to attach this beautiful flower to one of these. So again with the liquid glue, it just gives you a little bit of that wiggle time to move that into position if you haven't got it, you know, like 100% on the money when you put it down. If you're using tear and tape or the seal, sometimes once it's stuck, it's stuck. So I'm just making sure that that's beautifully even and all lined up. And I'm going to give that a minute. And now I'm going to take this other one. Now this is where this one comes into play. It's backwards, okay? So it's a mirror image. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's a mirror image. So what I want to do is I want to put that onto the back. So I want to cover up that kind of ugly plain area there. And I'm going to glue that on. So when I cut this out, I cut it out with the die, with the back of it facing me. So I've cut it out with a view to turning it around. So this part that was up, that was the die was cutting into, is the back. Okay. Now I hope I've made you understand that little bit. Now, if you have any questions, of course, you can pop a question in the comments. My email address is always here. It's always here. And if you want to ask any questions, you can email me. I promise I will answer as soon as I possibly can. So now I've got this on the back and it's plain. So it differentiates the back from the front. The front has got the flower on it and the back is quite plain. but they will be joined together in just a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to take my bookmark that has my designer series paper. We've rounded all the corners, popped that on, made sure that it was going in the direction that it needed to. That has a piece of tear and tape just along the fold, just so that it makes it not flopping out all the time, because you want it to grip onto the pages of your book. So it won't matter which is the front and which is the back. One thing we did do in our class was purely by accident. One side, I'd scored them for everybody, and one side was slightly longer than the other. And so it meant that you could open this a little bit easier. Now, on this corner punch, it has a little notch. It will cut a little notch in there. So what I thought I might do is just pop one side in, and you put the straight edge in. You put the straight edge in like that. And I'm just going to punch that when I've got it where I think the center is. I think that looks about right. Now, all that means is now you can do that with a circle punch. Just put a little bit of a thumb grip in there. All this means now is when I go to put this in my book, I can open it a little bit easier. Instead of struggling, trying to find where it comes open. I think this one was the harder one. I don't know. But anyway, I just thought I would do that. That's how these things happen. It's like, you know, invention is the mother of necessity. So now these are fairly dry. So what I want to do is I want to pop this one on here. Now, how far down or how far up you go is totally up to you. Now, the reason I cut the corners was because it fitted in better with the butterfly. But I think it's a good idea because then you've got a little bit extra glue holding that. And also no square corners will be peeking out. So I'm going to glue that on there. So this is the front. So I want to glue this on here, just like that. Now look, don't worry if you get too much glue and it goes over where you want it, because we are going to glue the back onto that. So pop it where you want it. I think I'd like it about there. Just hold that down for a second. So you can turn it around, you can do whatever you like with it at this stage. And I've got glue all over me now. So I'm just going to give that a minute. Now look, I bought these. I think I've still got some. No, I haven't got one. Hang on. Sometimes you don't have enough hands. Look at this cute little, but any paper bulldog grip will do. And you can just hold that and leave that to dry. So yeah, think about that. Have a look in your stationery, have a look in your little $2 shop and see if there's something like that that might help you. And they were like, you know, just a couple of dollars. So now I'm going to put the glue on the whole lot of this back piece and then line them up. Now, you could make a whole pile of these. You could donate them to your local school or kindergarten for a fundraiser. You could make them gifts. Now, if you give books, what about popping one of these in with that book? So now here's where my little clip can come in handy. It's going to hold that right there while I sort this out. And I want to squeeze where those corners are rounded because I want this to sort of be very, very solid. Because it's got like 4 layers of cardstock plus 2 of designer series paper, it is very, very sturdy. Now, it's not going to get damaged very easily poking out of the top of your book. So, of course, you could stamp a message down here. You could do a circle and have a message in the circle. It doesn't have to be the way I have done them, but I just wanted to show you that really the possibilities are endless. Once you've got this part down pat, whatever you put up here is purely up to you. So the circle can be bigger than that. You know, it could be something that you've stamped and coloured, or it could be something that you've cut out of some of your beautiful designer series paper. And there you go. You can make them as different as your designer series paper will allow. And to be honest, I think they're brilliant. And I'm actually going to notch the centre out of this one as well, and the other one, just for ease. It was like a happy accident. Thank you, Jeanette. Jeanette pointed that out to me when I said, oh no, that is not lining up. And she said, yeah, but it makes it easier to separate them. So I'm going to do that. Thanks, Jeanette. Jeanette's one of my Ruti Hill class ladies. And one of her granddaughters is a school teacher, and she's thinking she might tell her so that she and her kids in her class can make these gorgeous little bookmarks. But let me know what you think. Now that, I mean, admittedly I had everything ready, but let me know what you think. Do you think you would make these? Do you think this is a great idea? Do you have scores of paper that you have laying around that could be converted? I mean, I've got reams and reams of paper that I really don't know what to do with a lot of it. But there is our sketch number 21. Our card sketch. I'll give you another little close look at that. Of course, you could put some embellishments on that if you wanted to. It's fairly plain, but yeah, you could, you know, it doesn't have to be this. It could be some die cuts of foliage or something. There are the three totally different bookmarks, and I hope you give them a go. Let me know if you will. Let me know if you are thinking about doing that, because I think they're really cute. I think that they're quick enough to make if you need to make more than one. And please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and share this video if you would like. Yeah, I'd be really grateful for all three of those. And we've done 28 minutes, and I think that's a fairly quick. Don't forget Kanamaluka Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre. My nephew Duncan and his family are running this centre to rehabilitate Australia's native animals and then release them back in the wild. But thank you so much for sharing a bit of time with me tonight, and I'll see you guys all on Sunday. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.